Hello and welcome to the MW Comic Podcast. I'm William Stephen.
Matthew Littler.
Let's get this party started. Anyway, first things first, we'd put a disclaimer out there. We are both pretty shocking with our comic knowledge. We're literally 22 and decided to start reading comics. So, literally start-up nerds. So, we apologise for anything going out there where we are incorrect with any of the storylines or anything like that. We're willing to learn, so give us a chance and don't hate us.
If there is anything that we've done wrong, just drop us a tweet at at MW Comic Podcast. And that's our Twitter page, and should be on there.
And the second thing is, some of the stuff we're reviewing has probably been out a long time, but it's
stuff we've read, and
it's stuff that we've read and stuff that we wanted to read. So tough shit, basically. There's no other way to put it.
Anyway, we'll get started then. Let's generally just jump into it. Well, what have you read this week?
What have I read this week? I really like the Watchmen film. One of the first things I read after before I started getting into comics was the Watchmen graphic novel, which was brilliant. So we decided they've done a series club before Watchmen, which delves into their back history, which is alluded to in the film. So we looked at, so you got the Minutemen one, which is 6 issues, and the 4 issues revolving around the Night Owl character. And what else have I read? The first, it's volume 1 of the new Batman 52, but for those who are following it by the individual comics, that's issue 1 to 7. Apart from that, I've also read V Vendetta. That was quite a few weeks ago. How about you?
Just as I say, just the Minutemen ones which we got last week. I've read the Batman Earth 1.
Oh, so have I. Sorry,
yeah.
I jumped in on that one. I read that this week as well.
Which isn't great. Killing Joke. Batman's Killing Joke.
That'll be this week's reading for me.
It's a very good book. And Heroes Volume 1, I wasn't a fan of the TV show. It was extremely boring, but the comic was good. The actual collection of comics was actually a really good read.
I always thought it was a cheap rip-off of X-Men.
It is. It's like a cheap rip-off of X-Men, but everyone's a bit shit. Putting
it out there. Do you want shit X-Men? Heroes is your thing.
Yeah, it's a bit shitty. No, the actual comic's quite good.
Okay.
The rest of it's a bit wank. Which one was the highlight for you, Will? What was your favourite so far? Out of the few that we've read into?
It's difficult, really. Take out Batman Earth 1, because Batman Earth 1 for me is the worst thing that I've read. I know I've not read much, but for me it was the worst thing ever. I can't really pick, because they were both brilliant. Batman, New 52 and the Watchmen stuff were both brilliant in their own way.
Yeah, no, that's fair enough. As you say, depending on everything you read, it's going to be a different kind of story, isn't it? This is going to be different, that's going to be whatever we have, really.
The one thing I will say about Batman New 52 for people out there, if you're into the Dark Knight...
Don't ruin it, Will.
I'm not saying if you're into the Dark Knight type Batman, this is not the one for you. This is more the great detective type Batman, I would say, because it's a great... goes into like a folklore tale that's going around, that's from Gotham, that's coming true. So it's more the detective and him investigating this folklore and it coming to reality and stuff like that.
Yeah, fair enough. As I say, I ain't ready. I'm about third way through. It's I'm enjoying it. It's a good book. It's a good read.
Is it not your type of Batman?
I don't mind. I don't mind Batman either way. I don't like whiny ass Batman. Again, Earth 1. That was whiny ass Batman with awesome Alfred. But no, I don't mind the detective Batmans. As I say, I'm only so far into it, but it's mainly because I've not had time to read things. I've been at work, so...
It surprised me. When it's like, he's teaming up with Joker. Why did he just jump there? Why did he explain it? And then 2 pages later, you thought it's Dick Grayson with the weird
spoilers
like mask. It's not.
It is if you've only read the first 3 pages.
Yeah, but it was a good thing of coming up. Do you know what? I don't think I ever read is the first 3 pages.
Lazy people, illiterates.
Okay, Richard, don't read this.
Oh, poor Richard. Other than that, as I say, the only what you're looking at reading this week anyway with them, Will, because we've not really read anything else. As I say, it's getting hold of them at the moment.
I think the Watchmen stuff is worth a quick talk about, because the film is one of the very few films which is, as much as it can be, is loyal to the graphic novel. I'm not saying there isn't a few things out there which is wrong, because there always is, but it's
what they have to do to make it into a film.
But this one is good. The V for Vendetta film was awful. They put things that happened in the end, happened in the film, happened in the beginning of the thing. They got total order wrong, missed out scenes, missed out the important. Because in the film, obviously her character, Natalie Portman, and Stephen Fry should end up shagging. They don't happen. And for American fans,
a lovely British word there.
For American fans, I mean fucking, basically. It's just, that's what pops into my head first.
It's because we're British.
Right, but
the British are more sophisticated than the Americans.
Well, yeah, that's true. Yeah, we shouldn't really be anti-American.
But not as much as French.
Yeah, we can diss the French. No one likes the French. But, yeah. Anyway, yeah. So go back to. So we had the Minutemen, which most people know. This is like the first group of heroes as such. So you got your Cape Justice, Metropolis,
I forgot the
Silk
name.
Spectre, the First Night Owl, Comedian. It's basically it's the first set.
Mothman, that's the one. The only one I couldn't remember.
And Mothman. So yeah, this basically goes to tell us back of how they came together, the rise and fall of the Minutemen. It's a very brief overview. And I thought it was brilliant. It kind of filled in some gaps for you, for people who thought it was the flashbacks were too brief. Comedian again steals the show. I don't know. It's just
he is great in the thing. And
it's sadistic, but he's great. It's like the joke. In this type of Watchmen universe, he's type like the Joker.
Yeah, he is.
Everything's a joke to him, and it's kind of sadistic.
But he's not evil.
It's not.
Well, he is evil, but he's good in an evil way.
He's like that anti-hero type thing. He's on like that thin line. Sometimes he can come across as evil. Sometimes he can come across as good. But ultimately, he always goes to the good side, and it depends on how you.
It's just the route he takes, pretty much.
Yeah,
that is the problem with him.
I don't think many superheroes get away with rape.
No, did Thingy ever rape anyone? Punisher, he seems like the kind of guy that would.
No, I don't know. I've not read Punisher.
Do you ever hear about the one that he gets tortured where he has the plastic bag over his head and they fill it with piss? That's got to be a good one to read.
Yeah, I'm currently when I get to the world, I'm reading Volume 1 of the Punisher Max series.
Fair enough.
Which goes into 8 volumes. So
we'll see what you get from that. See if you get the bag full of piss.
And the Night Owl series is very good as well. Again, it shows you how you see in the film. He's very he's a romanticist. He's an idealist. He's one of those people. He likes to live to these ideals, but he can't help but be not corrupted in some way, but fall into the mire as such. And I think he falls quickly in love. This one, well, I'm not going to give too much away, but again,
he's a manhole.
He's a manhole. Anything in a skimpy costume, he's there.
I'm ready. Yeah, I will probably be reading it over the next week, ready for next week. But you've already talked about it, so I probably won't talk about it. I'll say if I enjoyed it. You know what I mean?
Opinion, yeah.
Oh yeah, of course.
That's all right.
But I've got to say Darwin Cook for obviously Minutemen's done a great job, as we both said on that one. And I don't know how to say Michael. We'll call him Michael.
John Michael Straczynski, something like that. Anyway, he's written quite a few of the Superman stuff, which he's held a lot of acclaim for, and some Thor stuff. That's what I know. You probably know a lot more that he's done, but that's what I know.
Again, if you do have anything extra, just let us know, and anything you want to ask, pretty much, or tell us, and we'll listen.
Well,
because we need to know ourselves.
All right then. So, what's next?
Next, pretty much, what you're going to be looking at over the next week, Will?
Well, 1 second while I grab, so I can quickly go over what I'm reading next week. Well, today I have purchased Wolverine and Deadpool issue 42, which is the beginning of the Dark Angel saga. Which I was wanting to get into Wolverine and Deadpool, and I didn't want to jump in halfway through a particular story. So this it's a beginning of a 4-issue run of this particular storyline. And what I can gather on this, one of the X-Force, one of the members of the X-Force, Angel, obviously has this bit of a alter ego Archangel, and this is, I think, from the cover and the artwork, I can presume this is a manifestation of that. So, looks good, and the issue 42, it's a 100-page special, so £2.95, 100-page special. Go on, that's great.
It's about $4 for you Americans. $4.50 maybe. Who knows?
But recommended, I'd say. The next is Alone from you, because you've read it and
oh yeah, it's a
and I
great
haven't.
read.
Batman's The Killing Joke, and everyone knows that's by Alan Moore and Brian Bolland. And I've got 2 coming through the post, hopefully. The Joker by Brian Azzarello and Lee Bermejo, or Bermejo. I think I'm pronouncing that wrong, but anyway. And a classic for all you Daredevil fans out there, the Frank Miller Born Again. You?
I've got what's come through the post anyway. It depends what I get to read. I've got the Nightwing New 52 first issue, which came through the post, which was a good one. I've got the first 5 issues of Swamp Thing by Scott Snyder, which I'm excited about because I do like the idea of Swamp Thing. I've not really read anything from him, but from recommendations and stuff like that, it just seems like one of them things. He was a guy, fell in love, kind of got killed, turned into this thing, and he's like ostracized because of what he is. He is a Swamp Thing.
Mm. Do you read about the way he makes love?
Yeah, it's extremely weird.
Yeah, apparently, I heard this on the Kevin Smith podcast. Apparently, he grows a fungus, she eats it, and then he just goes into this psychedelic sex trance, and he's going, whatever her name is, I can't remember what her name is, I'm inside your mind, or something. Okay, so...
Which podcast did you actually listen to?
I think it was one of the... it might be one of the inserts from the Comic Book Men things, but it was pretty much...
It's fair enough. I just wondered, generally.
Anyway.
You should just listen to them. Some of them are just absolutely fantastic. Or listen to something. I'll tell you when later, because, it's not this related. The other one, which I'm really excited to read, is Frank Miller's Batman Dark Knight Returns.
Again with Frank Miller, I think he's just awesome.
He's just a great artist. Have you ever seen Frank Miller, what he looks like?
It's quite...
Complete hobo.
He is, but I think there's a lot of names I've heard bandied about recently. And I knew this boy who started reading properly. Frank Miller, Alan Moore. That's the 2 names that I was.
Paul Dini.
Paul Dini. He did the voice. Did he do the voice of the Batman?
He also did a lot of comics.
Did he?
Yeah, he's done a lot
there
of
we
comics.
go.
Grant Morrison.
Learns me every day. I mean, yeah. Before you started reading comics, are these the names you actually? Because before you listen to the podcasts, Kevin Smith, did you? What name did you hear of from that comic book world?
Frank Miller, Scott Snyder. I've heard of before.
Oh yeah, he's Zack Snyder's brother, CA.
And I've heard of Dini just in passing, but I had no idea who he was more than anything.
Yeah. Well, it's like I think it's just films because Alan Moore did. He wrote League of Extraordinary Gentlemen.
Yeah.
And he wrote V Vendetta, so that's how I know him from.
Oh no, that's fair enough. As I say, I've watched both of the animated specials that they released for the Dark Knight. Absolutely great films, both of them. If anyone wants to watch them, and from what I've heard, not read the book yet, they stick to that book to the key, except for minor tweaks where it's just like he's in a monologue, but you don't miss it if you're a fan of the book. So that's, it's all good. And that's hopefully... And I'll be finishing Batman New 52 this week, because obviously there won't be that much left. See how that goes, really.
The last few pages of that... Sorry, not the last few pages, but the last quarter, I would say, is fantastic.
Don't ruin it.
I'm not going to ruin it, I'm saying it's fantastic. Trust me, it's like I said, it's true detective Batman, and it's at its best, I would say.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Comic book movies, well.
Are you jumping
Are
that
you
quick? Are you jumping that quick?
I'm just jumping around,
Are
really.
you jumping that quick?
Yeah.
Oh, well, I think if because we both really got into superheroes through the films first, which I suppose for most comic geeks, comic book fans out there, would be like, no. But anyway, yeah. So I suppose this really answers the questions of what ones we really got us into it, wanted to do it.
Oh yeah.
This was our portal into it.
Pretty much 3 questions. Well, which were the good ones?
Which were the awful ones?
Which were the awful ones? Which one you were excited for?
Okay. Well, the first 2, and I might hear some people cringe at the second one. Blade 1.
These are the likes, I'm assuming.
These are the likes. Blade 1, which for me was fantastic. I like all the darkness and...
Not as only as a comic book film, but it's been renowned for being just a great vampire film as well.
It is great. It's when vampires were masculine. They weren't this feminine shit that you see now.
Ah, good old...
Don't even mention it. Don't.
Sorry, glitter vampires.
Glitter vampires.
Glitter vampires.
And the second one was Spawn. Again, it's shit. I'm not telling you it's a shit film, but it's good shit. That's all I can say.
It's like watching a Stallone film. It's sometimes that bad.
It's good, yeah.
It's that entertaining at the same time.
I'm going to love the Bat... Oh, well, I'll rephrase this. The original 4 Batman films, the first 2.
The first 2 were fantastic.
Love the 2 were shit. And the new Batman films were pretty good.
Am I the only person, to anyone out there, obviously, as I say, that really still does not like Christian Bale? As a Batman, I don't think there has been a good Batman.
No, I would agree.
They've always been outshined by the villains.
I think, certainly with Heath Ledger's the Joker, but I think with the other casting is so good and the storyline is so good that you kind of forget Christian Bale just can't act.
Yeah, it's gonna be like this the whole way through.
But other good ones. Most of them, apart from the Iron Mans, which I enjoyed, the Avengers.
Oh, the Iron Mans were great.
Thor was good.
Yeah.
I hated the Spider-Man films because even from the cartoons that I watched, I thought this is just wrong. It's on so many levels. This is wrong. I didn't like Fantastic Four. That was awful as well.
Yeah, they were.
I think that's the reason behind that is because they were owned by Fox, and Fox weren't allowed to use the comic books.
It's the problem. I don't think that's a problem though, because as an example, X-Men 1 and 2, and X-Men Wolverine and First Class, obviously 3 was shite, were good films, but they couldn't use the rights because they were owned by Sony.
I don't know. That's debatable.
Yes, no, yes, no. No, they're owned by Fox, sorry.
Yeah.
X-Men are owned by Fox, Spider-Man's owned by Sony.
Just really, I think the last few have been pretty good. So yeah, like I said, the Iron Man and that's because it's been done by Marvel.
Marvel, that's the thing.
As soon as we take over by Marvel, it's because they can stick to the comic books, and with that you get this richness in the character. You don't just.
And you get Robert Downey Jr.
You get Robert Downey Jr. But I think they had a certain more history. Like the first Iron Man film, it's not an action film. The first hour of that film is basically telling you how he became Iron Man.
Oh yeah, you can tell the origin story properly without.
So I'm not saying it's got action in it, but for me, like the first hour was not action, but it was brilliant.
It was that number 2. See, I'm more of a fan of number 2. It was a bit more actiony, but I think it was a pretty flawless film.
It's like it told you a bit more about his character. I think it's just like a development stage. So each film showing you to a different character. So the third one will be a bit more towards the finished article as such.
But less alcoholic.
Because if he's like non-Iron Man, and then this 100% obviously bulletproof is wearing metal thing, but
yeah,
this kind of
he's not invincible, is he? He seems to fuck up a lot.
Yeah, so there's that. So I think that's good.
No,
what's your
generally the same really. The recent Marvel seemed to be hitting it right on the nail at the moment. The Marvel films were, like as you say, the Iron Man, Thor was vastly entertaining. It wasn't the greatest film, but it was a very entertaining film. The Avengers was just. I went to see that 3 times in a week. It was just like.
Was it twice in 24 hours? With that?
Twice in 12 hours.
That is impressive.
I went for the midnight showing.
And then you took me to see it.
Then I went. Yeah,
not like a date. It was just we decided to go.
Fuck you. I thought it was a date. And then I took the missus' parents as well because I just wanted to watch it again in IMAX.
Fair enough.
Great film.
I forgot to mention there is a few other good films out there, like the Watchmen film, fantastic.
Yeah, that's true.
Avoid V for Vendetta if you love the graphic novel. If you're not bothered about the graphic novel and just want to see the film, from that case it's all right. Leeward Shiny Gentleman, tongue in cheek, it's all right. 300 is amazing. I love 300. I am Sparta.
It just does not stick to anything.
It's awesome. It is awesome. But it's very homoerotic though, so you gotta be in touch with them inside.
Gotta love the Persians, that's why. Persians.
No, it's like the Spartans. They just go around in the pants. Someone's
fair.
not told them about t-shirts.
All right, you've gone from good films you enjoy to obviously the films you didn't enjoy for V for Vendetta because of the graphic novel and stuff like that. Films you're excited for, if you can know any that are coming out.
Thor 2.
There's always Thor 2.
That's coming out. I think later this year. Iron Man 3.
Is Iron Man 3 out soon?
That's coming out soon. I've seen the trailer, so that looks got the villain, the Mandarin in.
See, I don't know if I'm looking forward to Winter Soldier, Captain America 2, because Captain America 1 was alright, but the Captain America in Avengers was just such a little pansy bitch through that entire film.
Again, I forgot to mention that I hated the Captain America film.
You didn't like the Captain? I didn't mind it.
I just think it was Marvel's chance to be patriotic with the Captain America whole idea. I just think I'll tell you this is the reason why I don't like Superman. I don't like ones that are seen to be untouchable and pristine. I like my heroes, vigilantes, whatever to have character flaws, to have weaknesses, because it makes the story more richer. It provides you a lot of depth to the character. With this one, he just.
See, that was the thing with Captain America. It was like he was supposed to be this superhuman powers, yeah. But I never actually got that when you actually mentioned that. He never got shot once or never got injured. But he's not like Superman. He just didn't seem to get hit. All he had was this little round shield, but he never seemed to get hit. It just shows that Nazis can't aim.
I very rarely critique Marvel because them and mainly them. I love DC, but he's not so much keen. For me, it's just lazy patriotism. It's like creating this impervious character.
Yeah, fair enough.
Again, and as I mentioned there, you probably related to it. I now hate Superman, so a lot of people now will send me, "Oh, you've got to read this; it'll change your view." Maybe it will. Maybe it don't. Tweet us.
Then there's Guardians of the Universe. Guardians of the Universe, well.
Apparently they're getting Adam Sandler and Jim Carrey to do the voices of two of them who are going to be CGI'd.
That's terrible. It
just sounds awful. And I've not even read the comics, so I can't really say I have an opinion. It just sounds awful. Apparently I've heard today, I don't know if this is breaking news for anyone who's going to read this. Fox are doing a Fantastic Four reboot, and they've got Matthew Vaughn in on the project. And for you who don't know that, he writer director, and he did the X-Men First Class and the Kick-Ass film.
It can't be any worse than what the original Fantastic Four film was. They were both terrible films.
The only good thing about that film is that you get to it's 1.5 hours of watching Jessica Alba.
She's so terrible.
She's a terrible actress, but she is hot. She's definitely in my top 3.
Top 1 million.
She is unbelievably fit. Anyway, we're not really good. This is not the smut hour.
This is just a podcast for Zoo. What you on about? We're just going to talk about random crap like that.
Okay.
And then obviously there's the 2015. I know it's a long way away now, but still. we've got the next Avengers film coming out.
They're not really delve too much into what the storyline's going to be with that, though, are they? The game kind of gave the end of the first, the not like the king or whatever, but the
whatever he was.
Whatever he was.
As I
Again,
watched...
you'll probably feel like, oh, he's called this, you fucking idiots, but we don't know, so we're not going to pretend to know. It's the guy with like the pink face and yeah.
See, I thought I recognised
again,
him.
tweet us this because the only way we'll know is if you tell us.
And again, that's MW Comic Podcast. That's what to tweet us at. But no, I watched a YouTube clip about this, and it's just like, I don't think anyone knew who that guy was, because it was just like, it came up with, and at the end of the Avengers, and that guy that everyone pretended to know, who was a nerd, which I believe is probably completely true, because he's probably known, but
anyway, I put this out on the Twitter page. No one answered, but fuck it, we're gonna debate it. What do you prefer, heroes with powers or vigilantes?
Completely depends on the character.
Does it completely depend? I'm more 70% of the time I'll go for the vigilante. Because to me, it's like.
Are we going completely on a story basis? Or are we going completely on a head-to-head basis? Yeah?
Whatever you like, if you look at it this way, okay, and I'm gonna teach you something here, okay? Aristotle's Nicomachean Ethics. This is going into it, okay? A truly virtuous act has to come from an innate sense, not out of you feel obligated to do it out of some prescribed thing. For me, this is it. Superheroes with powers, they're kind of obligated to use them.
Not necessarily.
Well, you got these powers. It's like people expect you. If you can lift a car off someone who's trapped, people expect you to do it, don't they?
It's like having the argument of, if a superhero is born with powers, should he be more like virtuous about having powers from birth than if he was granted, like Superman over Spider-Man?
For me, there's a sense of obligation. If I saw something happening and I within my power to stop it, you would. That's for me. That's human nature. Whereas I'm not just crying superheroes. I think it's great, but for me, vigilantes is where I'm at, because they're playing humans like us who have decided to help. They haven't necessarily got any superpower, but they think we're going to... Well, I can say Batman's got his money, but we'll debate that for another time. They kind of think of using all their strength and human wit and whatever, which is to try and overcome these massive obstacles to save people. And I think that's more virtuous. I think it's more something to more...
What about the X-Men? Well done. The X-Men were people who were prosecuted. They were chucked out and hunted down, yet they still...
That is... I'm not decrying all superheroes. I think that's a good one. X-Men's kind of like... It falls out of this question because of the parameters that they operate within. Again, that's just my opinion. You can tweet us yours.
Tweet.
Again, I'm sorry if we're plugging this too much, but the only way we get more listeners is if we plug it. So
tweet. I don't know. It's fair enough. But yeah, if you want to answer that question, who is your favourite? A vigilante or a superhero born or obviously gifted with powers at a later age?
I'm sorry for teaching Aristotle. I know you don't really listen to these things to.
How do you know? Ethics. They might do. Our entire audience might be philosophy majors for all we know.
And I'm glad they are, but you don't necessarily think comic podcasts. I hope they talk about Aristotle, do you?
Yeah. No. Okay. That's fair enough. See, we've already gone through pretty much everything I've got on my list. Is there anything that you obviously want to mention while at all this week? As I say, this has been our first podcast, and the fact we only literally started properly reading things as of last Sunday. Sunday, it's a bit of a...
We could give a more in-depth... We both read The Minutemen. We probably can give a more in-depth thing out there if you...
It's up to you. Yeah, we can do.
Try and add something else to it. We don't want to...
We don't want to cut it short.
I want to
Obviously,
cut it short.
we're up to about half
Or
an hour.
we'll just ramble on, asking whatever questions pop into our head. I think that sounds more fun.
Yeah, we might as well, really. People don't want to hear us of our opinion. Obviously, if you've got any opinion on the Minutemen thing, again, drop us a tweet.
And again, if you love The Watchmen, I recommend reading this.
Yeah,
it's
if you haven't already read it,
brilliant.
do it.
And it's not simply back history and nothing happens. There is a particular event, a story to follow. It's not just a straight history. They were born here. This is what, and it ends here. There is a proper, like with a Night Owl. All centres around the investigation into the murder of prostitutes, and that's not giving anything spoiler to Matt because obviously you don't know the ins and outs of this investigation. But that's the basic storyline. So again, heavily recommend reading these series. Unfortunately, I couldn't find Rorschach and the Comedian to start reading.
They haven't finished the set yet.
But they haven't finished the set apparently. So.
Yeah, I was looking at this. They're only on set number 4 of Rorschach, I think.
The Comedians, the first 6 are done. The
6th ones haven't. 5 and 6 are still to be released.
Oh, okay.
So
there we go, people.
I think it's actually being released. 5th is being released like today or yesterday or some time very.
It'll be interesting to read the Comedians. I think Comedian Rorschach are probably in the graphic novel and the film probably my favourite.
I think there are a lot of people's, aren't they? There's that draw to them both. They kind of, as you say, they
just in the.
They seem to work out out of the law that little bit more than everybody else does.
I think with most people, one of their favourite scenes in The Watchmen is Rorschach in prison.
I cannot remember. It's been when I last watched that film was when you were at uni still.
It starts off obviously chucks chip fat onto someone when in the canteen, and this little gangster comes up to him with his goons saying, basically I'm going to get you. Basically, so obviously it's him and launching war against Rorschach, and every time Rorschach takes out one of his goons, it's going, one to me, none to you, like keeping score, and honestly, it's just
so
brilliant.
They're taking it from Lord of the Rings.
That scene is wonderful.
Taking it from Lord of the Rings from Two Towers when they're chopping down all the people on Helm's Deep. I've got 2. I'm up to 28. Or whatever numbers they were actually up to on that.
Yeah, no, it's kind of another good thing about watching them though. It's like the Cold War backdrop. I think adds an exciting element to the storyline.
Yeah, no, that's fair enough. Yeah, anything could happen at any moment, kind of.
And also, it's vital to the storyline in the end. But it adds an extra element to the story, which it's not just a plain old superheroes against villains, bashing it out type of story.
You've got the graphic novel, haven't you, Will?
I have. It's in my nan's loft, so I have to get it down.
Okay. I'll just order it online.
I have got it. No, I'll get it down because I want to read it. I want to reread it.
That's fair enough.
I thought I've read the Minutemen and Night Owl. I want a bit of Watchmen.
Yeah, that's fair enough. As I say, we can read to our heart's content, and you can reread.
Reread. That's
the glory of having everything.
That's why I've got my V Vendetta here.
You're going to reread it?
I am.
Right. We know that, you know now that Injustice, God...
Monks Men.
Monks
Does.
Well
there
done.
we go.
Well
Save.
Done. That one is coming out. Let's go with the other one. The big questions. Who would win in the fights? Just pick 2 random ones and we'll discuss that for a little bit.
See, we've got to kind of stay away from the fights put together by Kevin Smith and
the
Smith,
actual ones for the promotions to the Batman and that.
Are we discounting female against male here? Or are we going purely male against male?
If Aquaman took any female on, he'd lose.
Aquaman will lose to everyone. Aquaman sucks dick, basically. That's all you need to know.
Yeah, go on. I don't even know who's on it. Is it just the Justice League and DC? I'm assuming it's just DC characters.
I'm not sure. Let's go for this one. Flash versus Green Lantern. This is one that first popped into my head. It's probably a really bad one.
Question before we go. Are Green Lantern and Flash at none power when they start the fight?
I think in the game they have certain parts of the powers.
They have certain
they have because
obviously Hal Jordan needs to charge his ring up to become thing.
I think in the game though they'll kind of forego that part of the.
Damn it! Because at that point I'd say Flash. Flash wins every time because Hal Jordan takes his 12 seconds. Flash takes about half a second. At that time he's ran up and pretty much destroyed his face with as many punches as he can get in there.
See, if he was Green Lantern, you'd use your ring and make a running machine. So when the Flash starts running, you're actually just running fast on a running machine.
See, I do that.
And you run up to him and just knock the shit out of him.
That's what I mean. In any instance, I would say that Green Lantern wins. Green Lantern will destroy. He's all powerful at the end of the day. He's like having Superman, but with more powers. But the issue is the 12-second time delay if he had to charge his ring
and the
up.
speed of Flash, because it only takes Green Lantern to take a 1 second pause and Flash is on and could land a punch and knock him out. But I'm gonna go for Green Lantern on that.
Yeah, Green Lantern just for that infinite power issue.
Infinite power of the ring. See, sounds very gay to say that. Infinite power of the ring. But yeah. Anyway.
I'm gonna go with some Batman villains. Harley Quinn versus Poison Ivy.
Does Harley Quinn have the big ass sledgehammer?
The big ass hammer. She does, because she can just pull it somehow out of her ass, and I don't get how that happens.
Maybe it's an inflatable. She takes it out and inflates it.
Yeah. Fills it with like liquid concrete.
This is just us guessing it. Depends on the setting. Because if it's in that middle of a forest,
Poison Ivy has.
Poison Ivy. If it's in like downtown Gotham,
go with downtown Gotham. Neither of them have got an advantage from surroundings.
then you'd go for Harley Quinn because she can get a big ass.
The big ass hammer.
Because the other thing is Poison Ivy, who's not a lesbian, goes in and kisses her.
Yeah, but you know, she's got like powders and shit. Well, this is from a TV show anyway, the animated series. She's got powders she'll just spray in your face to make you hallucinate. And
at times she goes, she like that with the hammer.
She got cracked over the head.
Yes, we'll go for Harley Quinn.
You're going for Harley Quinn? Yeah, no, that's fair enough. We'll go with Harley Quinn. Just because she is possibly the most attractive cartoon female ever thing in both the TV show and the games.
Okay.
Go on, one more. We'll finish this with one more.
One more battle to the last. Bane versus Superman.
Superman.
Yeah, true.
there was no even point.
You can't even say, but if Bane does this, no.
Green Arrow.
Superman, you take the fun out of all these debates. This is why we hate you.
See, that's the one I liked about the Kevin Smith one with Jason Mewes, and it was Harley Quinn versus Wonder Woman. And Jason Mewes thought about it for a second, and Kevin go, why do you even have to think about it? Harley Quinn, God. There's no point in the competition at the end of the day.
No, this is the problem. Alright, so we're going a quick roundup of all the things that we've read and know coming out, and giving a few introductory opinions.
Tweet.
And we have plugged the Twitter page quite a bit. I think it's a good time to wrap it. I think the next future ones will probably be a bit longer, but
we'll see how things go.
It's a good time to give it a wrap. This is a quick plug to a non-comic thing, but 15 minutes time, UFC 157 starts. First female title fight. For any comic book nerds out there who read these comics and see the women in very skimpy outfits fighting, you want to see it in real life, watch this. Yes. So that's goodbye from me.
And it's goodbye from me.